Today in Unsolved, Florida, in a crowded park on a holiday weekend, 300 yards was the difference between a girl's bright future and a cold case file. This is Unsolved, Florida, and today we're looking for justice for Rachel Hurley. It was March 17th, 1990, St. Patrick's Day in Jupiter, Florida. Usually that means celebrations, but the weather that Saturday wasn't great. It was warm but gusty, the kind of wind that whips the sand across the dunes at Carlin Park. On the beach, families were dotted along the shoreline, but just a few hundred yards away, tucked between the dense Florida underbrush, a tragedy was unfolding in a matter of minutes. Today we're looking at the unsolved homicide of 14-year-old Rachel Karen Hurley. Rachel was a fiercely independent teenager. That afternoon, she had been out on the water boating with friends near the Jupiter Inlet. She was supposed to meet her mother, Andrea, at 3 p.m. at the Carlin Park parking lot. This wasn't just a casual pickup. Rachel and her mom had plans. They were going to spend the afternoon going door to door selling tickets for a pancake breakfast to benefit Rachel's middle school softball program. Rachel was a dedicated teammate. She wasn't the type to blow off a commitment. But 3 p.m. came and went. Andrea started to get antsy. She scanned the parking lot, calling for her daughter. No answer. As Andrea's worry grew, she spotted Aaron and Maddie, the two friends Rachel had stayed the night with. They told her that they parted ways about 30 minutes earlier. Rachel had been worried about the time, so she had actually taken off running, heading for the park to ensure she wasn't late. She had likely taken a shortcut through the woods, a path she knew well. Instead of continuing to sit at the park, Andrea decided to head home in case Rachel found another ride home. As the hours went by, Andrea called the Palm Beach Sheriff's Office to report her daughter missing. What followed was a massive mobilization. We're talking dozens of officers, 3 K-9 units, helicopters, mounted police, and even 2 boats. Friends, family, and locals joined the grid search, desperate to find the 14-year-old girl before nightfall. At 8 p.m., the search ended in the worst way possible. A volunteer, one of the many who had stepped up to help, found Rachel in a wooded area. She was only 300 yards from where her mother had been waiting. She had been sexually assaulted and killed. The scene was chaotic. The volunteer who found her was so shaken that he reportedly screamed for police, and while he waited for them to reach his location, he covered Rachel with his jacket and stood nearby, smoking cigarettes. The location itself was the challenge for investigators. It was a wooded area near a popular beach, but it was also a home to several transient camps. The ground was littered with trash and old cigarette butts, making it nearly impossible to distinguish between evidence and everyday trash. But then investigators found something about 200 feet away that stopped them in their tracks. A burn barrel, and inside it, a bloody t-shirt. There wasn't much blood at the actual crime scene, and the medical examiner later determined Rachel died from asphyxiation, so the shirt became a focal point. If the blood on it wasn't Rachel's, it almost certainly belonged to the killer. In the month following the murder, over 1,000 tips flooded in. 5 detectives worked the case full-time. They eventually secured a DNA profile from evidence found under Rachel's fingernails, proof that she had fought for her life. Over the years, police have tested that DNA against 127 different men. 127 leads, 127 dead ends. Although police did identify the owner of the bloody shirt in the burn barrel, and it was decided that it had nothing to do with Rachel's homicide, today the hope lies in the same technology solving cases across the country: investigative genetic genealogy. Rachel Hurley was a compassionate, joyful 14-year-old girl who was just a stone's throw away from safety when she was taken. If you have any information regarding the death of Rachel Hurley in March of 1990, please contact the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. Even the smallest detail from that windy St. Patrick's Day could be the piece that finally brings this family peace. Rachel loved singing Sweet Child of Mine and dancing with her friends. She played softball and was the second best second baseman in Palm Beach County. She liked the movie Top Gun, and she wanted to become a fighter pilot because of it. She was attending Jupiter Middle School and was an 8th grader at the time of her death. Like I mentioned earlier, the wooded areas by Carlin Park were home to many homeless people. and it's been rumored over the years that one of them may have been responsible for her death. When it rained, the homeless would stay in an abandoned radar station nearby, and it actually rained the night of Rachel's murder. The police thought that maybe the killer may have spent the night there. They interviewed over 50 homeless people who were known to frequent that area, but none of them saw anything at the time of the crime. The police even videotaped the funeral in hopes of catching a suspicious person attending her funeral. An FBI psychologist actually created a profile for the killer and said he was likely a white male in his 20s that was unemployed from a middle-class family. Rachel's family isn't in the media too often. Her mother, Andrea, did speak at a press conference in 2017 talking about who Rachel was, thanking her friends for support and hoping the case will be solved. Her sister, Erica, struggles to talk about her murder, but of course is holding out hope for the crime to be solved. Sadly, Rachel's father passed away in 2019 while coaching his grandson's lacrosse game. The killer's DNA is on file and has been entered into several databases. I do believe that DNA testing, or the familial DNA testing, can catch the killer. In my opinion, this case is hard because it very much could be someone she knew that took advantage of her. The friends that she was out boating with were obviously cleared, but it could be someone that knew she was going to be there. But just as likely, it could have been a homeless person with bad intentions, or not even a homeless person, just a person out there on a crowded beach that had bad intentions and saw a cute little girl. I know genetic genealogy is quite expensive, but there are a lot of companies and programs like Kindle Ray's Higher Hope Foundation and Criminal Coffee Co. that will assist law enforcement in raising funds. I do think this case can be solved. If you are local to the Palm Beach area, please consider reaching out to the sheriff's office and advocating for genetic genealogy testing and see what we as a community can do. Rachel's case was submitted to me by a viewer, so I want to say thank you. And if you have a case that you'd like to see covered, please send me a message or leave me a comment. Thanks for watching Unsolved Florida, and we'll see you next time.